Hi, everyone.
Hello. Greeting.
Hi,
Greetings.
Squee. How are you today?
I'm fine. Apparently, we're showing Inferno's Twitter page.
Yay!
Sweet.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Riffs. We've got lots of fan art to show real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to go down the list. So we've got Ali drew at that moment where Mila pulled Tom aside and said, "Tom, you can't threaten to kill him. That won't get us a room." When the
Mm-hmm.
guy who was at the hotel was offering, saying they didn't have a room.
Mm-hmm.
We have one from Ariel. Yeah, I'm not sure how I'm pronouncing that right. Ariel Woods, I think. One for Alicia, which is really, really well done. Another one for Tom, old Tom, young Tom. That's so confusing. But well done. And we have another one from Ali, which is Bear's derp moment, where he's just there. And then there. We've got two from Criana, which is Mila's new space studs. There's her first drawing. This is a more detailed, amazing drawing. So that's what Mila Nora looks like now. And then we've got two from Victor. Now, Victor drew a few, and I just chose like two to show, but Victor drew quite a few, and you can see them on hashtag RiftyFell if you want. One of Mila saying, "We forgot Lee!" And then one of Tom angry with something about people messing with his dog. And that is the fan art for this week.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh,
So, um, when we last left off, you fine folks decided to accept a job. Blink was kind of your reference, an old friend of hers, a fellow named Stephen Ward. He is the current captain of a small shuttle ship, transport cargo shuttle ship called the Twilight Covenant. And he hired you to track down and get his old ship back from a gang of ne'er-do-wells who simply call themselves the Lottery Killers, or actually other people call them the Lottery Killers. They don't have a name for themselves. He's planning a cunning trap for them, and of course, requires some people to assist. So, when we finished last session, we were going to go over 24 hours are going to pass in order for people to prepare themselves for the journey itself, and to get their armor and vac suits and weapons and all that good stuff. And I'm looking forward to making the next scene just getting ready to go. Now, Criana is MIA right now, so we all know how much I don't like to NPC player characters. So she'll either stay on the ship, or if she shows up in the next hour, she shows up like a pile of goo from Terminator 2, the silicon mass, and she'll just reappear on the ship or some bullshit. I don't know. I'm just being facetious, but suffice to say, I'm not playing Mila. I don't. I'm not playing Mila. So you're going to be down one person, but that's fine. But before we start that scene, I imagine I might have some questions from you guys, perhaps, in regards to gear or any last minute things that you might want, or any questions, perhaps?
I have a question.
Sure.
You did mention that this guy was from Freedom Station,
Yes, he is.
so possibly using some of our magic items and things like that might be a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
Is the Earth-made vibro sword that I brought from Earth so, like, if I were to activate it and use it in combat, would it still look okay, or would it look foreign?
Well, shopping at places such as the Vault, you're able to tell the technology is intrinsically the same, but the style is very different, right? So
Okay.
it's still based on Golden Age technology, right? So like it's still vibro a field over an alloy metal weapon,
Yeah.
but it's like a longsword now and a longsword from Baghdad 1,500 years ago. Well, no, wait, they didn't have longswords 1,500 years ago. 600 years ago. You know what I mean? The style's completely different.
Okay.
So that hopefully that'll answer your question.
Yeah, that did. Thank you.
Excellent. No problem. There you go.
We should. Well, I guess this is more for you guys. How do you guys want to allocate our oh shit devices, like the necklace and the little bracers and things like that?
Well, we did just go over saying it would probably be a bad idea to use them.
No,
Well-
it would be a bad idea to show them. And a bad idea to use them is all well and good, but if it's between dying or showing off one of our magical items, I think I'm okay with that.
I don't want to use either.
You don't even want to use a necklace?
Yeah, I mean the necklace or the bracers. Like, actually, here's an interesting thing: the EVA suits. If we have the bracers under the EVA suits, I'm guessing we wouldn't be able to press the pearl to activate it, right?
Correct.
Okay, so that one we can leave out because, well, we could wear them because you never know. You might somehow get thrown out of your EVA suit, so who knows? But the necklace, at least, yeah, no one would ever see that.
Yeah, but if I
here's
guess.
I'll give you one last heads up too. Okay. Is even when you're going to be on transport or whatnot, like imagine your EVA, your vacuum suit, your vac suit is similar to body armor, right? You don't wear your body armor all the time. You don't sleep in your body armor. And actually, when you're traveling on a ship, unless you're expecting danger or some sort of breach in the hull, there's no reason to wear your EVA suit. So, since this is going to be at least a few days, as mentioned by the captain, Stephen Ward, it's fair to say that people will be seeing you both in and outside of your EVA suits.
All right.
Now, that's not to say the medallion can't be hidden under, like, your clothes or anything like that. But I don't want you guys to get the mental idea of, oh, we're going to just be in our armor all the time, so no one's going to see us.
Right.
No.
All right. I still think that something like that is worth the risk. Keep it under our clothing because, and I think, and this might be just from Al's point of view, it literally has saved his life once already.
If you want to use the necklace, go for it. I don't want to use either.
Patrick?
Okay. So, if it's a vote thing, yeah. I think bringing along the necklace is, I believe, more than fine. Elaborate jewelry is nothing that's too foreign, I believe. Like, even if it's just like, I've never seen this design, yeah, it's jewelry. It could be any design it wants to be.
That is true. I do think, yeah, that one we might be able to explain a little better of, that necklace looks very weird. Well, yeah, my grandmother was a jewel smith and she liked playing with weird jewelry designs. I mean, yeah, it's not perfect, but I see what you're saying. We could probably talk our way through it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
One thing of note, may not want to call them jewels.
Right.
Because they would have to be mined from somewhere.
I would call them not jewels.
Metal
The
smithing.
shiny
Metal smithing.
stones.
Shinies.
Yeah.
You want to? Honestly, Patrick or Al, 6 of 1, half a dozen of the other, because we're wearing the same type of armor. Patrick, does Patrick have any 0G or 0G combat skill?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What?
Yes, he has 0G movement, but he does not have
All right.
the combat.
I would feel better if Patrick had that.
The necklace?
Yes.
I mean, sure. I the only thing that is wary of what's going on is if we're in a vacuum environment, that's not going to save me.
True. Very true. No, my thinking is if it's between Al or Patrick, I'd feel a little better at Patrick having it simply because Al's going to have a better dodge and fighting abilities when in 0G. Like, he doesn't have 0G combat, but his bonus is already fairly high. So I would feel better with Patrick having it because, I don't know, he might get shot easier.
Yeah.
Depends on what they're using. It's not like Al's going to be dodging lasers, but...
Yeah. I think it would be really either way.
Yeah. Well, I wore it last time, so maybe it's just your turn.
Sure.
Problem solved. It's like we've already beat them.
Yeah. All right. I want to say for the record, Inferno, I'm not going to bring the ISP necklace, and I will only bring the armored vac suit, my regular clothes, and the one space vibro sword that I bought.
Okay, sweet.
And that's it.
Okie dokie, artichoke.
All
right. Mm-hmm.
Al's bringing all of his space stuff he bought, so like the knives, the laser rifle, the laser pistol, etc. The flash grenades.
Hot damn.
Yeah, we're going into battle, man.
If we've already decided on buying the things that we want to buy, I'm probably going to bring the necklace, my normal clothes, spacer laser rifle, and the armored vacuum suit.
Groovy. Okay. So. We're all set? We're all good?
Yes, one more question, just out of curiosity. These EVA suits, does it allow you to see people's faces?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it depends on the style. Most of them, yes, because they want, when you're in an EVA suit or any sort of vac suit, or actually in anything, even body armor, you're going to want a good field of vision, right?
Right.
But some of them are slightly styled differently, right? Some of them have visions like a visor. Some of them you see the whole face. But for the most part, and specifically the ones that are styled now, which seems to be an older style of suit, yes, you can see the entire face. The helmet, the faceplate of the helmet is this. It's still hard. It's still mega damage materials that we can say out of character, but it is, I guess you could say, reinforced plastic or something like that.
Okay.
Where, yeah, it's clear. They can see your face. You can see theirs.
Cool. That's all I needed to know. I'm good.
Okay. So, all right. So let's get into it. As you can see here on the map itself, just to kind of give you a little more information. The first, of course, let's introduce you to the ship that you will be on for a short period of time, the Twilight Covenant. I described it a little bit last session about it being a little bit, looks like a little bit older size. It has chemical engines, and it only has a pair of twin-linked laser cannons on the top of the ship itself. And as you all gather... Oh, I just got confirmation from Criana Phase 2. She won't be able to make it. So then Mila's going to just stay on the station. But would you like to still take Bear with you?
Yes.
Okay,
Definitely.
excellent. So Bear's come around. We'll talk about Criana next time.
Mm-hmm.
Mind if I do a small role play?
Yeah, I don't mind at all.
Okay. So this is taking place between the 24 hours of being told about this and volunteering our services and then getting onto the ship to go. When going into the golden place, it will actually take a good amount of time before he comes back. Nothing extremely expansive, but it will definitely take minutes instead of his usual fairly quick in and out. He'll come back out with all of the credits needed that we discussed for what items that we wanted to purchase, as well as a kind of distorted hole punched ingot, and also in his grip he has a what is one of those things called? A shell in his hand, a bullet shell.
Okay.
On this particular shell, there is a red ring around the base of it, just as color. And he will hand both of you the required costs that you're going to buy your equipment for.
Mm-hmm. All right. What's with the ingot?
Oh, I was testing a few things. It was different than I thought it would be.
Okay.
You know what? I'll talk about it another time.
All right.
Are you okay, Patrick?
You know, for all of the knowledge I have, he holds up the shell. I have enough smarts to make this thing, but stupid enough to believe that this person's random name meant something, that this would even work on a suit that doesn't even... It has its own air supply. Of course it would have. There's no air in space. Why would it have a...
Patrick, I can't say I understand exactly where you're coming from, but you're probably the smartest person I've ever met. If this is something that bothers you, then it's something that bothers me.
What bothers me is that I'm not thinking clearly. I keep making mistakes. I keep putting us in terrible situations because I didn't think ahead enough. I didn't try to factor in if something went wrong. I'm compulsive. I can't...
Wait. You've put us in terrible mispositions?
Sorry, I'll shut up.
Well, you almost died because we didn't even think about the opponent doing what they did.
No, Patrick. I almost died because my past caught up to us. It had nothing to do with you. We can't always understand what our enemies are going to do, and I'm grateful that you are always thinking about it, but don't beat yourself up over it. If anything, you should be blaming me and Mila for that. I think that the type of people we've been around each other long enough to know that we've all got demons in our past. Maybe I have a few more than others, but if you don't blame me for Nathan causing us all the problems, why in the world would I ever blame you?
I'm just saying that I feel that I should be better than this, and he shakes around the bullet a bit.
Al smiles and says, Patrick, if it wasn't for you, we would have been dead a long time ago. You're just as intelligent as you need to be. Maybe even more.
La 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 la. Oh, sorry, you're not done.
Besides, and Al kind of looks at the thing in Patrick's hand. I don't care if that thing is the most useless piece of junk you've ever made. You are going to find a way to make it useful. You always do.
He's going to grab your shoulder and say, do you know what my plan for this was?
Patrick, I never know what your plans are. That's what makes them so amazing.
I was going to use this. This has the moss that we got from that cave.
Right? Al looks confused.
The death moss?
No. I understand.
I was going to try to use this, which doesn't even work to begin with, to try to put a freaking lady I don't know of in a coma because she has a name of a bird. And you know what? She would probably die from this. I don't have any way to wake her up.
Al's gonna be at a loss for words. Look, Patrick, I get it. You're freaked out. It was a really weird coincidence and it's thrown you off your game. It happens. I understand. I'm not sure I can exactly offer words that are going to change any of that, but look, Patrick, you know what I do when we're about to go somewhere dangerous and I don't feel like I'm on my game?
He shrugs.
I'll put a hand on Patrick's shoulder and say, I rely on you guys.
Yeah. I should probably do that more.
Al will nod, pat his shoulder, and then kind of go back to what he was doing.
That was very. Oh, sorry. Can we end scene? End scene. Are we good with that?
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that was very nice. I like that quite a bit. Okie dokie. Anything else you guys wanted to role play or anything like that?
No, I'm good.
You're good?
No,
I'm
I
good.
think I'm good, yeah.
I
Groovy.
think I have something on the end of that RP,
Okay.
actually. And
Okay.
Tom will just look at Al, who went back to doing what he was doing, and look back to Patrick and going, so we're not going to do that. Right? Okay.
No.
I'll just get my stuff and we can go. Okay, I'll just...
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
I
when
contributed.
you did. God gives Burn a cookie. There you go. Nom. All right. So when you all assemble back at the crowded and very hectic and almost anarchistic spaceport for in Outcast Station, you once again find the Twilight Covenant, and sure enough, the team gets together. Okay, so first, what would happen is that Stephen Ward would introduce you to his crew and the other people that were signed on, and then he'd give you a brief tour of the ship itself before you guys cast off. Now, a lot of this information, I'm not going to say in character, as tempting as it is. I think it'll be a little bit more expedient if I explain it more out of character in a narrative sense. Okay? So the first person, of course, is Janita Blanco, which is Blink, who you all know quite well. So she requires no additional introduction other than the fact that she has. It appears that she has come loaded for bear. She actually has a environmentally sealed battle armor that's polished to a very high reflectiveness. You noticed a suit of armor similar to this in the vault, which was the very pricey and top of the line bodysuit of armor that also doubles as a vac suit. She also is armed to the teeth with an ion pistol at her side, a laser rifle slung along her back, and on the other side of her hip, opposite the pistol, seems to be a short, vicious-looking vibroblade. The other members of Stephen Ward's actual crew for the Twilight Covenant is a young woman named Leslie Lott. She's human, Caucasian, blonde, and she also, through some casual conversation, is also from Freedom Station as well. And she acts as Stephen Ward's co-pilot. In addition, there's a fellow named Lucio Medioros. He is Hispanic. He is also from Freedom Station as well, and he seems to be in his mid to late 30s. And he is in charge of navigation, sensors, logistics, and if worse comes to worse, a backup pilot as well. Of course, you guys are introduced as well, mostly as friends of Blink and whatnot. And finally, you weren't the... Okay, sorry. Finally, you guys obviously were not the only individuals hired for Stephen Ward's little trap. And 3 other individuals are join with you, okay? The first is... He seems very, very young. He might be 17 if he's a day. Blonde hair, humanoid, more specifically, probably a mutated human. He does have a second set of ears that are growing out the side of his neck. And he seems very... his face is really pockmarked as well, as if some sort of blemish or disease affected him when he was younger. Imagine like radiation scars, I guess you could say. All right. But he is, despite his mutated visage, he is, out of the 3 of them, he's the most chipper, enthusiastic, and nervously talkative as everyone else. And he introduces himself as Paragon. The second individual is very, very quiet. She has probably said maybe 3 words so far, and all of them have just been in simple greeting. She has a soft, quiet, hushed tone, and her skin is a very ashen, pallid color. All right. She also appears to be completely hairless. And her head is completely bare, no eyebrows, no hairs, no small hairs on the top of her arms, nothing. And and it's also clear, because she is absolutely hairless, that she has mind over matter implants, or at least the implants are surprisingly similar to Mila's. Although they're obviously in different places. You're comfortable at correctly identifying them.
Yeah.
And her name is Gray. And then finally is a fellow that Blink actually met just a few hours ago, and she unfortunately vetted him the least. But he is a Hulk of a person. He seems to be he's also a mutant. But unlike a lot of mutant canines that you've seen in orbit, few and far between, a small percentage of the population are any sort of mutant animals. We're talking like maybe 5%, if anything. Unlike, say, for example, someone who is clearly canine looking, such as Bear, this fellow is more similar to Blink in the fact that they almost look more human than canine, in the fact that he doesn't have a large snout, but his ears are dog-like. And this fellow actually doesn't have any sort of tail, but his fur, there's fur covering his entire body, and his teeth are very, very sharp, like a canine's as well. And he is about 8 feet tall and 3.5 feet wide. Big barrel chest, and he has this big booming laugh that he says from time he rings out from time to time, and he's simply known as Beast. And a lot of these nicknames are very self-evident. Beast has had a negotiation of his between Stephen Ward, the captain, and this fellow, and there's been a bit of a negotiation in resources. He's going to be paid 50% more per day. He's also going to need double the food and water than anyone else needs as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you guys have any general questions about the people that you're going to be spending some time with after this, beginning meet and greet area? If you don't have any questions, I can move on to describing the ship that you're going to be on.
I'm personally good.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
Yes, I'm good.
Okay, great. So, starting, let me just go over a few features of the ship itself, okay? The first and foremost, as you can see, is that it does not have any sort of front view screen. The pilot compartment area is a simple 4-seater, and at the front where perhaps a view, I guess you could say, what do they call those? I'm drawing a blank. A window, for lack of a better word, I guess, out into space. Instead, it's a stream of about 5 separate large monitors that connect to cameras on the exterior of the ship to get an idea of what's actually out there, right? Mm-hmm. It has a chemical engine, 2 large engines around the back. And let me see if I can't point this out. I'll just... I'll use a little arrow thing. Okay. So, and what's not very interesting, but the cargo area isn't actually in at the rear of the ship. The rear of the ship has the engines, much of the fuel for the engines, and the batteries and the generators for the laser weapons, right? It's the exact center of the ship itself that holds the cargo area. And Stephen Ward says that the Twilight Covenant can hold about 60 tons of cargo, but for this particular excursion, all the cargo is going to be fake, and the most important thing that he's going to be hauling is you guys. Mm-hmm. Near the front, beyond, just behind the cockpit, are some small rooms in a very dorm-like fashion, where you are set up to rest. You're surprised at almost how similar it is to the Behemoth. The rooms themselves aren't very big, and there are a pair of bunk beds on the opposite side of the wall. The rooms are probably only about maybe 15 feet, no, not even 15 feet, sorry, about 10 feet square, which doesn't give you a lot of space, but thankfully this is only temporary housing. And there are 6 of these places, and 6 of these rooms, and everyone, including the captain, shares this living space. All right. There is no mess hall. There is no entertainment lounge. This is a very functional workhorse of a ship. Mm-hmm. Okay. And also, in the cargo area itself, there's an airlock that's off to the eastern side of it. And, of course, along the walls of the cargo bay are those harnesses that were set up that you were first introduced to when you first met Stephen Ward.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions about the ship?
I do have one question.
Sure.
He said it didn't have any gravity ability, so basically
Correct.
the whole time we're on the ship, we're in 0G.
Correct.
All right. So
of course the beds themselves, since they're bolted to the walls, you kind of have to strap yourself down
okay.
to sleep. Mm-hmm. And of course the seats, if you were to sit anywhere, either in the cargo area or anywhere else to rest and talk with anybody, once again, you just have to strap yourself in.
I think Al at some point would probably ask Blink discreetly if this was common in ships.
Blink would shake her head. It's not, she says, it is only common typically in 2 types of ships. And she says this equally quietly to you, definitely outside the hearing of her friend Stephen Ward. It's found in 2 types of ships. Shuttles that only take short jaunts, so they don't want to spend their money on something when they're only going to be traveling in space for 2 or 3 hours at a time. Or people who can't afford a generator. People who cut costs as much as possible.
I see.
Because, frankly, most times it is difficult to get around the ship without any sort of artificial gravity generator.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I'll also throw just a few stats at you, too, especially for the more technically minded, such as Patrick, perhaps. You might want to know a few things, right? So, the actual stats of this Twilight Covenant is it's 130 feet long, it's 50 feet wide, it's about 30 feet tall, its mass is about 100 tons. The chemical drive can go up to Mach 2, which is the equivalent of 1,320 miles per hour, right? It does have armor plating. This ship doesn't have any sort of shield generator. In fact, shield generators are not found in orbit that you guys know of. During the tour, you're also shown that just south in the area in between the engine room and the cargo bay is the space for 1 escape capsule that can hold 6 people. Okay. And as mentioned before, the weapons are linked laser cannons for defense that can go up to 12,000 feet in space.
Cool.
Yeah. So I guess the last little detail that Stephen Ward and the rest of the crew would want to get over is that if these scumbags are spotted, it would be easier. Okay, one last thing. Sorry, I'm digressing here real quick. Because I'm talking about the harnesses that were set up to kind of mask your heat patterns.
Mm-hmm.
For a guy as big as Beast, they actually have to take a little bit of extra time, and they pretty much have to fit him into 2 harnesses. You know, like how really big guys have to take 2 airplane seats? He's got to wear 2 harnesses. One over one big arm. Mm-hmm. But in regards to the harnesses, we mentioned before that you naturally burn a few degrees warmer, right, Tom?
Yeah.
So Stephen Ward suggests that the easiest solution is once they, hopefully, if it happens, that they get these scumbags on radar, if you and Leslie Lott switch places. So Leslie Lott gets in the harness and you take the co-pilot seat. Would you be comfortable in doing that?
Oh yeah, and I would say that even though I've recently just learned how to fly a ship. I learned on and he'll give the specifications of the ship that we took up from orbit on a big, huge boat. So piloting something like this would be a lot easier.
Good. Well,
I figured that I'd be pretty good at it.
Okay, Stephen Ward says, as his bionic eye, eyes you up and down. If you say so, but there won't be much piloting needed once these once we get in the sights of these guys, everything will go by pretty quick. But it's good to know that you'll be able to help us out in a pinch if necessary.
Mhm.
So, okay. Any other questions from you guys, or shall I continue on?
I do have a question.
Okay.
Are we getting like? Are we going to have to perform duties on the ship, or are we just chilling?
Nope. You were hired for one job and one job only, which is to kill some pirates and reclaim a ship. So there's no need for you guys to do to any particular duties. They're not putting you to work.
All right. My next question is on the armored vac suits. It comes with mag boots. Are those detachable?
No, they are not.
Okay. Then my final question would be: would there be enough space in the cargo hold to practice my sword fighting, like doing 1,000 downward strokes, doing 1,000 side strokes, and that kind of thing?
Well, do you particularly want to practice your sword fighting in 0G?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can say during the time period, having to hold 60. Yeah, no, I'll say there's enough room for something like that.
Cool.
Okay, so I heard Piff want to say something.
Mhm.
Yes. How do we identify the mockingbird? Since you don't want us to, it's yours, if I remember the wording correctly.
Stephen Ward will pause for a moment. And he'll say, well, if we do come across the ship, and if she is on it for whatever reason, you'll recognize her as having raven hair, black hair. Unlike a lot of the crew that initially boarded us, she is, for all intents and purposes, she looks 100% human. She's also got a white streak down her hair as well, starting from her bangs and going all the way to the back. She's got a sharp nose, sharp cheeks, and she has probably one of the most fucking annoying laughs you'll ever hear.
Got it.
If you see me charging towards someone like that, there's a good chance that's her.
Patrick will nod. And say, that's, I think I'm ready.
Okie dokie.
Al would probably spend a lot of his time familiarizing himself with the spacer rifle and pistol under the guise of taking it apart and cleaning it meticulously, but really more to, because, I assume because of his skill he knows it, but doesn't know the details of it, and he would like to learn, so.
Okay. I would like you to roll me D100, please.
Sure. 32.
Okay. It takes a little bit of time, not because you're so unfamiliar of taking it out and cleaning it and dealing with it, but because you're in 0G, so the little parts sometimes flow away. But you're able to get a hold on it. You don't lose anything, right? But it's just a little slow going. But you familiarize yourself with the weapons.
All right.
Okay. Anybody else, sorry?
Nope.
No? Okay. All right. Okay. So I'll continue describing things. As mentioned before, too, that these lottery killers have been seen and been attacking people along the area of the Orm Expanse. And that expanse is illustrated in this handy-dandy map. So that is where they'll be doing their mock cargo runs. All right? So, the first 18 hours are go by relatively unexpectedly. The only thing that is, what was I going to say? The only thing I want to address as the GM here is how some NPCs interact with you. Gray keeps to herself. Beast also doesn't say very much, other than cursory information. But Paragon is the type of fellow who he just wants to get to know each and every one of you, right? He's just you can tell he is super excited, and he's mentioned on several occasions now that this is the first, quote, real job he's ever had so far. And how he's really happy that, despite being born on Outcast Station, that he's been able to work for someone for Freedom Station, and the Stephen War guide seems pretty good. And you know that lady Blanco, where'd you know her from? Where are you guys? Were you born on Outcast? No, you weren't born on Outcast. You look pretty normal. Where are you, Independence or something? Where are you from? Are you from Freedom Station as well?
Well, most of us are spacers, really. I mean, spent most of our lives on one ship or another.
I see. Oh, okay. All right. Wow. So were you born on a ship?
I was. Can't really speak for the others.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, wow. Jeez. So, how many pirates do you think we're going to come across, huh?
I wouldn't even be able to guess. Hopefully not more than we have.
Yeah, no. Yeah, the captain, he seems pretty intense. He's friendly in one part, and then his eyes drift off, and then he gets really grim looking. Jeez, man, that's awful.
So you said this is your first real job? I mean, what did you do before now?
Oh, he says, oh, well, and he scratches his arm a little bit. And he says, oh, well, I was from Outcast Station, so really my main job was just trying to survive, get food and water and everything like that. But, a few years ago, I kind of developed this, I guess you could say it's an ability, a power, I suppose, that kind of got me really popular with some folks. And so they started to pay me to... anyway, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I used to do. The important thing is that I'm out here now, and I'm actually helping people, and I'm stopping pirates, and I'm gonna, be a pretty good guy. He says, uneloquently.
Al will nod and say, "Well, it's a good start, at least. You spend your whole life on Outcast Station?"
Born and raised. Well, I think I was born on Outcast Station. I'm not too sure. I don't know who my parents were.
I know that's pretty common, pretty harsh, but you seem to have gotten by okay.
As well as anyone could.
You don't by chance know your blood type, do you?
What's a blood type?
All right then, fair enough. Just I'm a medic. Try and learn what I can about you guys, just in case there's, well, let's hope not, but in case someone's injured, the more I know, the better I can treat you.
Well, you're treating me really nice already. I mean, most people don't talk to mutants like us. I mean, I guess maybe it's because of your ears. What is that? What did that? Radiation?
I wish I knew. Unfortunately, kind of like you, not very sure who my parents were. I know I was born on a ship because, well, that's what I was told. Lived on a ship most of my life. As far as treating people friendly, well, when you live on a ship your whole life, you start to talk.
He says, and he nods enthusiastically. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. Okay, that was fun. He kind of gives Patrick and Tom the same treatment. Do you want to roleplay that too, or do you just want to... I guess the bigger question is, in regards to this inquisitive, talkative fellow, is do you actually engage him in conversation, or do you ignore him, or you deflect him, or how do you want to deal with this fellow? Because Blink comes up with excuses and tries to actively avoid him. Gray just stares at him for like a few minutes, uncomfortable minutes, and he kind of moves on to Beast, who mostly just murmurs replies. He kind of gives the bare minimum in responses.
Well, do you wanna say what you would do, Piff? What
Sure.
Patrick would do? Yeah.
It depends on exactly which question that he asks me, I suppose.
Okay, all right. Okay, let me see here. So what's your story, huh?
Oh, well, I met up with these two, and he'll point to Tom and Al,
Mm-hmm.
and we got to know each other fairly well over time, and
Oh yeah? Where'd you meet?
Hmm?
Where'd you meet?
where?
Yeah.
Just I'm we kind of met flying past each other,
Okay.
and we opened up a comm and talked.
Oh, all right. Okay. So why'd you end up working together?
Well, I think it was mutual need for each other.
Uh-huh.
Some muscle, point over to Tom. Some doctor, point over to Al.
Oh, okay. So
And
what are you?
you can call me a scientist. I dabble in a lot of things.
A scientist? Are you
Yeah.
from one of the other stations? Euro, maybe?
Honestly, I keep traveling, so I'm not really from anywhere.
Yeah, I guess. But where did you learn? Where did you? I mean, you don't learn being a scientist out anywhere, right? Like you're. Wait, never mind. How are you guys like a group or something? Are you hiring?
Well, we did just recruit someone. I'm not quite sure how much more we could take.
Okay, yeah, no problem, no problem. I I see. Well, what's scientists doing out here? I mean, we're gonna kill pirates. Can you fight too?
I can hold my own. But since we're so close, if one of us died, we'd all be in trouble.
Okay, all right, sure. I guess I can get that. I get that. Okay, that's it for him.
As Patrick shifts over a little bit, looking a lot more solemn than he was before.
Yay, good. Fuck you. Okay. You
right.
feel bad. Okay.
How I'm going to handle it is,
Mhm.
can he come up to Tom while he's practicing his sword
That
stuff?
was I planning. That was I plan. Well, I was planning on.
All right.
Uh-huh. And he goes, "Oh wow!" He waits for a pause while you finish swinging a little bit, and he goes, "Wow, you really know how to use that thing, huh?
Yep.
Who taught you?
Myself.
Well, how do you know you're doing it right then?"
He'll stop and look over to him and go, "Well, it's effective."
Oh, I see. Wow, you do this a lot?
Yes.
Wow. Are you nervous?
No.
Oh, yeah, me neither. He says as he puts on a brave face. I'm doing great. Yeah. Your friends there say that you're the muscle. You're the muscle around here. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Were you part of a crew or something?
You could say that.
Okay. He pauses for a moment.
I'm sure you're wondering what makes me so powerful, right?
Sure, I guess, yeah.
He'll sheath his sword
Uh-huh.
and kind of hold out his hand, not too close to the guy,
Mm-hmm.
and have a small flame hover above his hand.
Oh, he steps back in a bit of surprise, and a giant smile hits his face. He goes, "Oh, okay, look what I can do," he says.
Mhm.
And soon he goes, "Wait, oh, wait. Well, I'll just hold back, I guess," he says. And you see his eyes light up, turning first, it's a very, very pale yellow. Then it gets brighter and brighter until it's almost a sunset orange in a way, right? And you can see it grow and grow and get hotter and hotter. They almost become like coals in his eyes. And then it dies down a little bit. And he goes, "Sorry, I can't actually, I shouldn't use this unless I want to hurt someone. But let's just say the light gets brighter and yeah, it can hurt people. It can hurt people pretty bad. So that's why they hired me. Of course, I have to take off my helmet for it to work. But yeah,
Interesting.
I can. I mean, he kind of gives a bit of a shrug. That's what I can do. So you're. Are you from Outcast then?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess so. You look pretty normal, other than the fire thing. So I
Yeah.
guess you could have just been. So what station are you from?
Not from a station.
Oh, then where are you from?
Mars.
He goes, "Oh, huh. You were born on Mars?
I don't know.
But what do you mean you don't know?"
My earliest memories are from there.
Oh, wow. So you were. Wow. No one's really heard from Mars in the past little while. Huh. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. He's gonna go back to swinging his sword.
Okay. Yeah. He'll leave you alone. All right. That was a fun little micro role play.
Yeah.
I'm done now.
not?
I'm done. I'm all paragoned out. He's
Spent.
annoying me now. I made him. Okay.
I love that. I'm glad that I chose Mars
Why?
because it's another place that hasn't been heard from in a very long time.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
You'll not very well. You said a while, but yeah.
Yeah, in a
it's
while.
true. Okay. So, the Twilight. Just a second. I gotta get my cheat sheet up. The Twilight Covenant continues on its course. You hit the Orm Expanse, like I mentioned, about 18 hours in, and you begin some, for lack of a better word, fake trade runs. During this time, Stephen Ward gets kind of antsier and antsier, more excited. You can tell by his body language he's extremely jazzed up. But after the first 2 hours, that initial adrenaline and eagerness that he shows, the energy that is infectious between him and his crew, and perhaps to the rest of you, starts to die down as you get to the center of the Orm Expanse and nothing has happened. Every 5 minutes, he calls out to Lucio, asking if they've gotten anything on sensors, and other than a little bit of debris, inactive, unmoving debris, it's been absolutely nothing. Very quiet, very silent. It continues this way for another 3 hours. And just as you get to the other side of the Orm Expanse, In the middle of a conversation between Stephen and Leslie Lott, whether they debate whether they should go back and dock with the nearby station and come back another way to truly simulate a cargo run, or if they should just turn around and try to go a different trajectory through the expanse, Lucio stands up straight in his seat. Stephen asks, "You got something?" He goes, "I'm not 100% sure, but if we continue on this trajectory, I'm detecting something moving just on the outside of our sensor range. I'm not able to get any sort of specific targeting just yet." A few minutes later, he can confirm. He reads out in a crisp, clear tone, enough that could be heard by anybody on this ship, truly. And he says, "Yeah, single ship. Just a second. Yeah. Picking up residual ion streams. Yep, confirmation on an ion drive." Stephen Ward's eyes light up. And he goes, "Energy patterns?" Lucio says, "It's consistent. I can't confirm it until we are within visual range, but the patterns are consistent with an avian class." Stephen Ward gets even more excited. In fact, he says, "What kind of path are they coursing? Lateral? Horizontal to us?" Lucio shakes his head and he goes, "A few more minutes to confirm." A few more minutes pass. An intercept trajectory. With us? Yes, sir. Stephen Ward's hands start shaking a little bit. And he says, 4 fucking years. I've been waiting 4 fucking years for this. Wait, folks. Don't get into position just yet. This could be nothing. We'll wait till they get within comms range at the very least. About 10 minutes passed, and Lucio's updates imply that sure enough, a ship is getting closer and closer to your trajectory, going at least Mach 3, perhaps even Mach 4, which is faster than what this ship is capable of. Finally, they get in communications range. Stephen looks over to Leslie Lott and he goes, "Wait, don't hail them just yet. See if they'll hail us." 30 seconds, a minute passes. Nobody, your ship is not hailed. He goes, "All right, wait. We have to continue on the farce, okay? Let's try to hail them. Just a friendly meet and greet." Leslie opens up a radio broadcast. She says, "Hello, identified ship. We see you're meeting our trajectory. Do you need assistance, or are you looking just to swap information?" They pause. Everyone waits in silence. In a matter of seconds, 15 seconds pass. A minute, 2 minutes pass, no response. Stephen Ward says, "Everybody, get into your harnesses. I think we got him."